It's melting fast now.
Tonight, icy sidewalks, potholes, and flooding. We're in for a messy few days in Manitoba. Your local news starts now.
This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Thanks for joining us tonight. From ice to puddles to a hazard caused by melting, it has been a wet couple of days, and our pavement and our vehicles are taking a beating from all of this freezing and thawing. CBC's Joanne Roberts reports.
It's another bumpy spring in Winnipeg, with drivers trying as best as they can to avoid going into potholes.
It's terrible. It's crazy.
What do you do to avoid it?
I just go swerve around it as much as I can.
Drivers in Winnipeg say they're sick of the streets being riddled with holes.
Sometimes you go on the side of the road, there's water and there's a big hole in there. Not good.
Well, I just, drive slow because I'm not from the city, so I don't really know which ones to avoid for.
Last year, April brought over 1,200 damage claims to MPI. We haven't seen quite as many this year so far, but Linda Cole from Tony's Academy Auto Service says this year's pothole season is just as steady as others.
A lot of people are coming right after they hit a pothole, wondering if there's damage, and then a lot of people are coming, oh, I hit a pothole yesterday, now I hear a noise.
Have you had any damage from potholes here?
Not yet, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
The City of Winnipeg says since March 1st, it's received 1,431 service requests for potholes. It says people should be watching for them as they drive, and if they see any large or very deep potholes, to call 311. Joanne Roberts, CBC News, Winnipeg.
On to northern Manitoba now, where school is cancelled at Opapon-Napawin Cree Nation at South Indian Lake after the roof collapsed. Heavy, wet snow over the weekend was just too much for the roof of the 50-year-old school. It's not known how long the community will be without classes. Chief Shirley Ducharme worries it could take long before a plan is in place. Manitoba government records show the province spent $35 million on reusable N95 respirators in 2020 that now largely remain in storage. The 500,000 respirators were supplied by a local company, but now the province says all but 10,000 of those remain in a storage warehouse. A provincial spokesperson says the masks just took too long for healthcare workers to take apart and clean. That's something the Manitoba Nurses Union agrees with.
There wasn't the ability to be sterilizing and cleaning all the equipment that needed to be cleaned because it was, we were absolutely in a time of war, right, with COVID, and we just did not have the resources.
The province says buying the respirators from a local manufacturer was a way to deal with a shortage of personal protective equipment. Winnipeg composer and producer Danny Schur has died of brain cancer.
The story as I framed it is as a triumph of the underdog, which I think Winnipeg really, really relates to.
Schur was most widely known for his telling of the story of the 1919 Winnipeg General Strike. He was the force behind the musical Strike, which later was turned into a feature film called Stand. Danny Schur was 56 years old. Well, Manitoba is still not ready to make Orange Shirt Day a statutory holiday. The province says its consultations have yet to produce a consensus, while critics argue there's already overwhelming support. CBC's Ian Fraze reports.
Well, Premier Heather Stephenson is saying there's still no agreement, not among Indigenous groups and not among the business community. Despite the government consulting on this matter for about a year and a half, Stephenson says we've yet to reach a consensus.
There isn't necessarily agreement on what that day should look like, and so we want to make sure that that unfolds the way that, and we want Indigenous people having, the say in what that will look like moving forward as well. Certainly when it comes to businesses, we've heard loud and clear they've been struggling, and we want to make sure that, if they choose to close, they close on their own.
Grand Chief Kathleen Merrick with the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs says the government has missed the chance to teach others about the horrors of residential schools.
And this was an opportunity for the province for the Orange Shirt Day, that we would have been able to educate our on the history of who we are and what we are and where we came from.
NDP leader Wab Kinew says the government is ignoring a call to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's final report.
One of the calls to justice is for the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, better known as Orange Shirt Day, to be made a statutory holiday from coast to coast to coast.
The Premier responded by saying the day is already a time in Manitoba to reflect and remember. Last year, the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce surveyed their members and found that 70% of respondents wanted a stat holiday. But Lauren Remillard says the survey also says that their members don't just want a day off, but a day to learn and grow and reflect. That's why he says a broader consensus is needed, like what to do when September 30th falls on a weekend. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, the Winnipeg Jets are officially playoff bound.
Appleton's alone in front. Here he is, scores!
That was the goal tonight that sealed the deal. Mason Appleton making it a 2-goal lead over the Wild in Minnesota. The win tonight means the Jets clinch the final playoff spot in the NHL Western Conference. Let's take a look at downtown Winnipeg tonight. It sure felt like spring in the city today, but the north could see some more snow. Your forecast is coming up next. Well, it turns out that big winter storm last week did not have such a big effect on Manitoba's flood outlook. The province says the flood forecast for the Red River Valley remains pretty much the same as it was in March. The Red is still at risk of major flooding between Emerson and Winnipeg, and that has some people not taking any chances.
Just getting some sandbags for my garage. I get a lot of water in there in the spring, and it's melting fast now.
So far, it's not looking like flooding will threaten any communities in Manitoba.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. The trade and upgrade event is on now.
Well, that brings us to a look at our forecast now, and we have a snowfall warning in place. This is in northern Manitoba, the area around Gillam over to Thompson, the Indian Lake region. Could see up to 15 centimeters of snow by the time we get to Thursday. You can see that on Futurecast here. Moving through as we get into Wednesday, I am a little pessimistic that this is actually going to materialize in anything. I think we're going to see, mainly sunny skies again, a bit on the windy side, but don't be scared if we do see, a drop or two first thing in the morning for tomorrow. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud, another windy day on the way for southern Manitoba tomorrow. Then we see our next weather maker here beginning to move in for Thursday, some early morning showers. This could turn into a little more rain as we get into the later part of Wednesday, and even some snow overnight Thursday and into Friday. Looking at our temperatures, and it's going to be another mild night across Manitoba. We're looking at temperatures at around 3 degrees in Winnipeg first thing in the morning. Double digits again tomorrow, 14s in Winnipeg and Portage. We still see that snow falling in Thompson at 1 degree. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. We are going to see breezy conditions really for the balance of the work week here. There's those showers I talked about Thursday into Friday, and sunnier conditions into next week. And before we go tonight, congratulations are in order for one of our own here at CBC Manitoba. Our I-Team reporter, Caroline Bargout, won the award for Best Local Reporter at the Canadian Screen Awards in Toronto tonight. Caroline is a senior reporter in a team here who, as you know, has a long and accomplished history of holding power to account and digging deep. Congratulations, Caroline. We are so lucky to have you. That is your late news for this Tuesday. Thanks for being with us tonight. We're back again tomorrow at 6 and 11. Have a great night.